Hello everybody, welcome back to Doing Bart Things. And man, well, so you can see my low rent production area where I typically come to you from is about to get torn down, and we're probably about to move. So doing more videos after this for a little bit could be a bit sketchy. When I come back, though, we may be in a situation where there's not a trash can behind me. There's not a kitchen behind me. We are moving to a bigger place, so hopefully that will allow me to have a bit more room. Maybe I can, decorate around me and have some neat stuff in the background, and I'll make the picture actually bigger. Maybe I'll let you guys see my face in all its large glory instead of in this little box. Maybe I won't, because maybe that will be scary to you. Maybe I'll just zoom in the background or something to that you guys can see some of that versus me. I haven't decided yet. I'm excited for that. They'll actually have kind of a little bit more of my own space. All my kids are going to get their own bedroom. It'll be amazing. But it's also nerve-wracking time, a little bit stressful because we're having to buy this new house and see if we can get into it. Having said that, there is a little bit of tech news, or I guess video card news. So, couple things. AMD apparently is going to name the Navi 32 card, which I thought was going to be just a 7800 maybe. Moore's Law is dead kind of hinted at maybe it was going to be a 7800, 7700. They're going to give it the XT moniker, so it's the 7800 XT. It is a N32 or Navi 32 chip, which is like your 7900 series. So that would be the 7900 XTX, the 7900 XT, and the 7900 GRE, which is only system integrators and the Chinese market right now, really, are all N31s. That's the larger, fully intact chip. These cards are going to be at different nodes. They're going to be the N32, which is a smaller design, and it will have less. It'll be less dense. It won't have as many cores in it, or units. As a matter of fact, it's 3840 stream processors. That's significantly less than what the 7900 will have, or has. Clock speeds are talking like 2565 for boost. I don't think, well, okay, I never know with this stuff. They say, oh, Power Color's not supposed to release this, and I'm like, how do we really know? There's so many leaks and stuff nowadays that I just think it's part of the marketing. People just try to leak things to get their name out there. It's a 16 gigabyte card, so it's got 16 gigs of VRAM, which is, I would say, what you want. I probably wouldn't want to go below 12 gigs now if you want to buy the card and keep it for a while. 8 gigs is just starting to become a bit too little. I think 10 gigs may even fall very quickly after that as being like, okay, it's a little bit small for some games. It's still got a little bit of legs, but really 12 gigs, 16 gigs is the comfortable bet if you want to continue to play a AAA game without having, hopefully, any memory issues. I think it's the PS5 Pro or something that's coming out that has a lot of VRAM or something. I don't know. I've got to go and check that, but I do know that games that are even just console ports, when the console's got more VRAM than your dedicated graphics cards, it's like a what the hell kind of deal. And so they're, at some point, in order to get you the quality and fidelity that you would like in a game on PC that's like a big AAA game, it's supposed to have renowned graphics and all that, you're gonna have to go better than just 8 gigs. Even at 1080p, if you're gonna do 1080p ultra settings, like even some of the lower end games, well, I say lower end games. I think it was Hogwarts Legacy. Was just showing some really bad 1% lows, and they upped the RAM, VRAM, and boom, like it was good. And I think we saw a RAM modded, was it a 3060 or was it a, I think it was one of the, it was like the 50, I think it was a 5700 or something. I think maybe that was modded, and they put more RAM on it, and it was the exact same card, and sure enough, bam, like the 1% lows were fine. I think we're going to start to see more of that because it costs development time to really super optimize these games, and they're getting to the point where they're just like, look, this is the frame buffer we want to use, this is the amount of RAM we want to use in order to render these games, and if the card doesn't have it, then, you know, you're not going to get to play maxed out settings on even 1080p. So kind of interesting. Like I said, so for that reason, you know, that's not bad. The part that concerns me about this card is the clock speed is not significantly over the 7900 variants, but it's got way less processing units at 3840. If we scroll down here, so this is your 7900 XTX, XT, GRE. And if you look, you got 96 CUs, 84 CUs, 80 CUs. The 7900 XT and the 7900 GRE are actually pretty darn close in their specification. GRE's got less RAM, less memory bus, but they're fairly close on CUs. Only 60 CUs for the 7800 XT, as it's described here. Slightly higher clock speed than the 7900 GRE, but like it has no chance. It's 5120 stream processors versus 3840. So that's a significant bump down. And what's more significant about this, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the RDNA 2 6800 XT actually has more compute units than this as well. So last gen actually may compete very strongly with this, which is alarming. Maybe. I mean, these cores are going to be more efficient. They're going to clock a little higher. But other than that, I mean, when you got more of them, like it's going to be kind of an interesting launch this card will have. This one's going to be a little more power efficient, potentially. So I'm not sure. Like I just think 60 units. Man, I don't know. What should have happened, I think, but again, armchair quarterbacking from home. They should have released this 7900 GRE. Over here is the 7800 XT. This card probably should just be a 7800. And then 7700, and then your 7600. And I think Moore's Law's Dead pointed that out, and I think that that would probably be the smart bet, right? I think what's going to happen is they're going to release this card at like $500, $550, something like that. And I think again it's going to be a little bit overpriced. $500, at least in comparison to the competition, probably will make sense. I think this will do pretty well against a 4060 Ti. It's probably going to keep pace maybe with a 4070. It might slip, I don't know. It might slot underneath a 4070. Not sure at this moment, but it'll be in that kind of wad of cards. I think a 6800 XT does pretty well against a 4060 and 4070 as well. So the thing, I guess the thing that just gets me is it's going to be roughly the same price, but it's just roughly going to offer about the same performance, honestly. You know, there'll be some things it does a little bit better here and there, but it's going to be very close. We're talking probably 5–10% maybe, I think. Just looking at the raw stats, like it's just not going to be that much faster. So it's just all going to come down to how much are they going to charge for it, and how fast is it really? If it's as fast as 6800 XT, but it's cheaper, okay, you know. But I don't know, just not really super excited, and it's unfortunate. In other news, well, I say it's unfortunate. I think the jury's still out. Let me phrase it like that. In other news, GPU prices are kind of starting to go back up. So I think the market hit its bottom. And I think we're starting to see, like if I go to, let's go to the AMD cards here. I usually have an easier time telling with them. Right, so if I go to the most expensive, say on Newegg here. Yeah, so these Tai Chi cards have been hanging in there around the $1,080 mark. And then your XTXs, see, they're just hanging in around that $1,000 mark, right? You can get the what is this? The Phantom Gaming ASRock one for $950, which I think is kind of going to be where they are. Like, I think $950 is going to be considered a good price on these XTXs. The XTs, $750 is going to be your well, this one's $850. So that's that has gone back up quite a bit. I don't see yeah, I don't see a $700, $750, $770 XTX. Which I think if I went to Newegg, I could probably find one, maybe Amazon, but not here anymore. So I think they sold those out. But yeah, I think probably $800 is where this is going to normalize. And I kind of think that's it. You know, we'll get some holiday Black Friday specials. They'll knock this down around $800, $750, something like that. I don't think we'll see the $700 straight up pricing that we've seen in the past. We'll have to see. But I kind of think that's where that's at. If you go with Nvidia cards, Nvidia practically all but stopped production. Like, they've just frankly stopped making cards. What I'm hearing is that they have just stopped because demand is so low that they're just like, well, we're just not going to make them. So if I go to the 4000 series, right? Let's go on to the 4080. So the 4080 is the one that if any card drops in price, it needs to be the 4080. Go to the lowest priced ones. Yeah, see, like $50 under the original MSRP. You know, not great, really. These cards are just so expensive for what it is. I just can't recommend it. You know, if you can pay this much for a 4080, then you probably should just save up and get a 4090. I think you'll end up being happier. And that's kind of unfortunate. So, yeah, anyway, I think GPU prices kind of bottomed out there, and I think we're kind of going back up. So anybody that was waiting to buy, the wait was over. There was a little window there to get at its absolute bottom, and now I think they're going up a tad. I don't think they're going to go up a lot because I think demand is just not quite high enough, although there's some demand there. But I think now we're in you're just going to have to watch out and look for sale mode, right? Is where that's at. What else? There is a rumor mill going around, but it may be a pretty strong rumor that AMD may be out on the high-end video card market. What does that mean? So, using this as an example, you got your 7900 XTX, 7900 XT, and 7900 GRE. So like these two cards, the 7900 XT and the 7900 XTX, for N31, for Navi, basically for the current generation, these are considered the top end cards, right? These are the biggest dies. What is being rumored is that this top die for next gen, AMD may not even bother producing one for the gaming market, which would be really sad. I would be really sad to see that, because I don't know why they would do that. This card's actually selling well. 7900 XTX has been selling well. It's not been discounted too much. There have been a couple of really good sales here and there, but I mean, people are paying the grand for entry. To me, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe video cards cost that much, but people have been paying it. Hey, that's a top end AMD card, and even when they just came out, and I mean, they've been buying this card. People want this top dog card. The 7900 XT was the one that was not priced appropriately by the MSRP of $900, when it's significantly under the XTX in performance. So people were basically saying, well, okay, whatever, we'll step up and pay the $1,000 and get the top end card. And they've continued to sell pretty well. And so basically what AMD is rumored to be doing is they've had a couple of generations mixed in here and there where they've only produced a middle of the road card. They didn't produce a top end card. They were like, we're going to produce the card that we think will sell, and we're not going to worry about these parts that traditionally they didn't sell as many of. But this card's selling pretty well, so what gives? I think AMD is planning to maybe take that high-end volume for the next generation card, which would be N41. I think AMD wants to take that volume and shift it over to the AI market. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm rumor milling that. Like, there's much more evidence they just won't produce a top-end card versus what I'm saying, which is there's a reason why they may not produce a top-end card, which is they may move that over to AI production because that's so profitable in comparison to this. So rather than use that node to produce a card that can be sold for $1,000, let's produce that node for a card that can be sold for $10,000. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. That makes sense. Is that what's happening? No idea. Total speculation on my end. But I could see that as being the motive. And it's not because they couldn't produce the chips. It probably would be just because that production could be used to make more money. Is what it boils down to. So they'll still give us the mid-range card to combat where they traditionally have had success anyway. You know, when they price the 7900 XT and the 7800 XT and they price those cards correctly, they sell well. So we'll have to see. Like, if so, that's a real bummer. That really sucks. I would prefer if they took the newest node, right? Because I think it's 3 nanometer would be the next node. I think. I would prefer if they just said, okay, fine, we'll produce this card on 3 nanometer to go and sell to AI companies who can afford to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a professional workstation card that does AI, you know, or servers or whatever they need that production for. And if they kept the lower node and said, well, we'll make enthusiast cards out of this, you know, and then gave us at least the full size die they could give us using the quote-unquote lesser node, maybe even the same node that they use these cards for, just with some tweaks, and there you go. I mean, N31 I think was supposed to be a bit faster. So if they had the ability to quote-unquote fix the things with the N31 card, release a full-size N31, and maybe upgrade the memory to GDDR7 when it comes out, you might be able to make a new series out of just that. And that could save you some money. You could go and still chase the AI market with the most expensive dies if you want to do that. And you could go chase Joe Gamer if you wanted to. I don't know. I think there's ways to go around it. I really hope that they don't just completely bail. And this is another Polaris situation, which is a card where they came out with a mid-range card and that was it. Like they just had a $200 card and a $400 card, and they let Nvidia just, anything that was above that, Nvidia just ran away with it. Because right now, if that happens, Nvidia will charge, it'll cost $2,000 to get a 4070. Like, it'll be ridiculous, I think. I think next gen is going to be just obnoxious. It's just going to be horrible. I think if AMD just lets them go about their way. On the other hand, hey Intel, all of a sudden the path is clear. I mean, now's your time. Like, Nvidia is going to charge too much, and they don't care because they just feel like they're basically the game in town by and large, and they're moving all of their stuff over to AI anyway. So I don't even think they want to produce mainstream graphics cards. And AMD maybe skipping out on the top end. Where's Battlemage at? I mean, they were talking like it wasn't going to release until next year, and I thought that was going to be too late. Maybe not. Maybe not at all. Complete plot twist. Intel, if they just get their stuff together, you've got 4 months for first quarter 2024. Get your stuff together, have a really good marketing campaign towards the end of the year, release in first quarter. I mean, Battlemage, if you can release a card that is a mainstream card that competes with a 4080 in performance, but it's priced in that $500, $600 category, I don't see anything stopping that. I think you mop the floor with everything that's out there, basically. I mean, you're done. Like, they could bank off that card and hopefully bankroll their next couple of generations off of that. So I don't think they'll do it. I think that I think the writing is on the wall for Intel GPUs, and it's really sad to me, because I was really rooting for them, and then I thought maybe they had a chance. Arc came out. The A750 and A770 didn't do super well. Nvidia were being dickheads and not basically allowing anybody to partner. I was kind of hoping some of the AMD partners might swoop in there. And ASRock finally did. And I think Acer has as well. So they kind of got a couple partners there. They probably need some more. I think Sparkle, which is a company whose name I hadn't heard in a while, actually made a few cards with them. And I think there's some other partners out there that could make cards, which Intel really needed. But it just didn't take off. It didn't have the driver support at launch. Drivers have gotten substantially better since the card launched. And now, I think just as Intel, basically they needed funds and they were starting to hurt a bit because the server market wasn't going their way and won't be going their way for a bit. Now I think if they have the right card in the works, they should be licking their chops. They should stop what they're doing and make that card freaking perfect. If they made Battlemage perfect, just performed well, they had a couple more partners, and most importantly, they release it on time. They need that card to be first quarter of 2024, I think. I don't know if the roadmap, I haven't seen an updated roadmap, but if they can get it first, maybe second quarter of 2024, where AMD is still having to rely on these RDNA 3 cards, and Nvidia still is, Nvidia is not going to have the 50 series until 2025. So they've got an entire year to wait for that. Man, Intel, that coulda, woulda, shoulda. Just, we'll see if their roadmap has changed or anything, but I'm telling you, that is incredible that we could literally be looking at the beginning of 2024 with Intel opening up, and suddenly just out of nowhere coming in with a new GPU that might be really the one to have for people who have the right money over their stuff. If their drivers are right, if everything on paper works out, it'd be like, yeah, you know what? I want to go this way. That's just crazy to me. And I don't think this 7800 XT is going to do anything about it, really. So that's why I still say AMD should probably release this GRE card in North America. Or at least they should consider it before the end of the year. That was one of the things that I was thinking. We'll see. Anyway, that's a bunch of babble for me. I tried to babble a little bit extra long this time on purpose because it may be a little bit before I get another video out to you. And if I do, it could be a very short video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Man, it would be awesome if the next time I do a video I'm in my new spot. And maybe it's a little bit less low-rent production. But I doubt it. I probably got another video, maybe two, before we get moved in over there. So we'll see. At any rate, I hope you guys had a fantastic week, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. It's Friday night, so don't party so hard that you end up in the headlines. That's all I got to ask. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.